The changes in the way that children and young people use social media has been absolutely amazing over the last few years. And obviously, children are often at the forefront of how to use this technology and are often way ahead of their teachers. And this poses a very difficult challenge for schools to ensure that they know what's happening and how they can respond to keep children safe. Added to all of this, the government is very aware of the numerous serious case reviews that have been held in various parts of the country and the impact that technology has had on those cases. The way technology has been used for grooming, the way technology has been used to attract young people in. So the findings of the serious case reviews have really caused the government to review and rethink the guidance that they've issued to schools. And that's why we've had the changes in keeping children safe in education. It's also become apparent to government through the numerous child sexual exploitation cases that have happened up and down the country and the growth of extremism and radicalisation. And both of those two big issues which are facing society have often been facilitated through the use of the internet. And of course, schools are actually in the front line of both of those issues. So consequently, the guidance has to reflect and support schools in dealing with this kind of issue. But I think very significantly, there's much more emphasis on online safety. And schools will now have to demonstrate quite clearly across the curriculum what they do to safeguard children, particularly from dangers of using modern technology. I think the first thing to note is that the new guidance is actually statutory guidance, and that means that schools have got to have due regard to it. They should be implementing the advice that is given within the guidance. If they don't, they have to have very good reason why they're not doing it. So the new guidance really brings in a number of changes. I think the first thing to say is that obviously the guidance has been in place for some time. And they've used this revision to sharpen up some of the language, but they brought in a number of key changes. There's always been an emphasis on training, but now the emphasis is on whole staff training, and that means anybody who works with children and young people in your school. So whole staff training, and this must be done on an annual basis. They've also got to make sure that as part of everybody's induction, that they have access to training around safeguarding, about the policies and procedures within the school, as well as the wider issues contained within the new guidance. This poses a great challenge for schools, particularly schools that have a high turnover of staff or schools that are very large. And I think one of the things that schools will have to consider is how can they ensure that all of their staff receive this annual training, and how can they make sure that everybody is covered. One thing that schools must ensure is that all of their staff have read part 1 of the guidance. Not only